We're back, and we're burning a wheel, or the wheel is burning us. One of the two. Here we are. All right, Jed. I've got to make a call, and
You do.
I was torn by my beliefs, as they should be, and I looked to my very first belief, and I decided that is the direction that I'm going to take. Last time the Fell Nightingale tried to teach me the Elven song, it ended in disaster because I did not understand how to use my gift. I'm ready now, and I'll learn from her the recitation of the ages. She started teaching me this spell song, and I would like to try and cast it. I would like to try and beginner's luck to cast the recitation of the ages to see how Igna protected himself while he picked up the wheel. So this is I've been involved, but the way the spell works is this spell song is both a history lesson and a wondrous show of lights and images. As the ages are recited, the elf intermingles faces and memory as powers, and the scenes and eons past float before the listeners. So this is bad because maybe I'm going to teach a devil how to grab a hold of the wheel, but maybe I'm going to also teach myself how to do it.
Okay.
So I hate myself for saying this, but I don't think I want to see how Igna did it. I want to see how Ostafa did it.
Yeah.
Because Ostafa fucking did it the way I want to do it. She didn't carry the wheel in a way that like crippled her or that like broke her. This is page 148 of the core book, by the way.
Yeah.
She didn't do it in a way that broke her. She did it in a way that strengthened her. Unfortunately, that's a higher ob because I am going back further. But I think that's of the third age, which is ob 2. The current age is ob 1.
Cool.
You tell me if that sounds right. Because she was the third.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's the way we're reckoning ages. I love it.
Yeah. We're reckoning ages by archmages. All right, so Nara's going to start singing, and she is going to. I don't know if devils are subject to wonderment.
I don't think so. No,
I don't think they are.
Nope.
But if someone else was around, if a dwarf or a human were nearby, they would theoretically be affected by wonderment because she's singing an elven song. And you say, how can a human do that? And it's because I'm very cheatery, and I took Feyborn, and I took First Blood as my elven trait, which let's see. Let me pull up the actual. Elves are made from the very fabric of nature, wind, air, and water. Thus, they know its secrets well. They know how to preserve much of the power, even when it's taken in the shape of something new. In its intimate knowledge, it allows elves to weave their songs. Their unadulterated essence grants them insight into the world unmatched by the races of men, elves, dwarves, and orcs. So yeah, I took the elven trait. I took the half elven ability and the elven trait that allows them to weave songs. And I've learned a little bit of this song.
Cool.
Here we go. What happens if I fail this roll, Judd?
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
I think you're gonna believe you understand how to do the wheel, and you might be wrong.
Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah.
I think I can do this carefully, but I think that's really all I could do. I can't fork because it's being learned.
Right.
How much persona do I have? I have 3 left. Oh my god. I'm gonna need it for this sorcery roll. Or this whatever roll I'm gonna have to make. to grab
Yeah.
one, but still going to spend one. Here we go. Okay. Let's pull it up for everyone to see. Okay, Restation of the Ages. Got 1 health. Got 1 Artha. My base ob is 2, which it will double to 4. No! Did I get a? I got a 6 in there though. Spending the fate.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Oh my goodness.
Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Fate pulls it out. All right. I recount not back from this age, but back from the 3rd age.
Yeah.
And I marked a test on it as well. You just need 4 more and I'll know this song. Oh, my Lord.
Wow.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here. You put me on the spot to do. I'm going to put you on the spot of storytelling time of when and
you watch. I think like you sing the story of this young woman who picked up the wheel, and you see that the way that they did it in the old days was not as organized, and it was just a bunch of wizards would present their apprentices and they would say, does anyone want to pick up the wheel this year? And like sometimes someone would walk up to it and then like the fire would like start to scorch them and they'd walk away. And Ostafa walks up and begins casting the spell as she's walking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's actually not too far off from what the devil said. She gives herself a trait using the trait thing in art magic.
Oh, the trait art magic, yeah.
Yeah. She gives herself a trait to give herself a really intense trait that allows her to deal with the fire. And she like gets down into a powerlifting stance and lifts it up and turns with like victory in her eyes and starts walking down the mountain.
Yeah.
And it was an intense cast. She was not sure she'd be able to do it.
Yeah. Well, it's not what I was hoping for because traits are +5 ob for me. They're
right.
My school of magic. I could learn it. I could learn it from another wizard.
Right.
But I don't. That normally takes days. It's like an instruction type test. It's not a cool. I saw this person do it. Now I know how to do it. So
yeah.
I feel like this could contribute to me learning that spell, but I don't feel like it's reasonable to say like I just learn it right now.
Nope. But I think like it. You know what it is now, right?
Yeah.
What like it's. I mean, I think it would be called Ostafa's fire riddle. And yeah.
Yeah. I like it. That's cool. And also, I don't think and like also like as Nara sees this, it's like crushing to her because it's like shit. That's the thing I don't know how to do at all.
Right.
But I do want to ask you something. Having seen that people basically use magic to do this,
Yeah.
I think what I'm going to try and do, I look at that and I'm just like, that's not a thing I can do. But what's only +1 ob for me, it's not in my school, but it's very close, is arcane action.
Right.
Using arcane action, the sorcerer may overcome the material world around them with arcane power. Sorcerer may be used to pass any simple physical test, pushing, leaping, grabbing, thrusting, etc. The obstacle for this effect is 1 plus the ob of the test at hand. So this indicates the wizard has passed the test as if he had been testing the appropriate ability. I think I asked you about this earlier, and I was like, could I lift it with magic? And you're like, no, you've got to grab a hold of it with your hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would work either. I don't know if I could use arcane action to grab hold of it, to lift it. Feels like no. Feels like it's impervious to that sort of attempt.
I mean, I think part of it is that the fire has to touch you for you to get its power, right? So like you might be able to move it, but it won't count. You know what I mean? Like it's not like lifting it.
Right. And that's the thing you need to do. Okay. So let's check one more thing then. Advantage can be used. All right. The sorcerer may use this art to grant himself and his allies aid. Using this effect, he may advantage dice to stats, skills, steal, resource circles, or stride. I think advantage can be used to do anything.
Right.
Give a bonus to anything. So I'm assuming, and tell me this seems totally wrong, that when I grab hold of it, I'm going to have to make one hell of a fort test or a health test to not.
I think it's a health. I think it's a health test. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think that could work.
Here we go. So I think I see this and I'm just like crestfallen, but it occurred. I'm like, but that's how you do it. You use magic to take power of its magic. And it's really cold up here. And I'm going to summon the coldest, most frigid winds to wrap around me and to almost like, I think my fingernails are going to turn purple. My skin's going to become blue, and I'm going to make myself as cold as I possibly can, so that I can resist the and it's just going to be this torrent of wind, so that I can resist the burning. That's what I'm going to do.
The health attribute is derived from will and fort. It is used in game to recover from injury and resist the effects of pain and fatigue. I mean, I think this is going to be like an ob 8 health
test. Cool. Well, it's a stat, so I can give it advantage. So here we go.
Yep.
Let's give it an advantage. I can't believe I'm doing this. I cannot believe I'm. Here we go.
Do it.
I'm doing it. All right. I want to get plus. I mean,
+3 is the max, right?
3. Yeah. I mean, I assume it could extend past that. I don't know. Let's go. Let's say +3 is the max.
Okay.
I'm going to name this spell. I'm going to name it right now. Not hardiness, like strength. No, it's I'm going to call it endurance of the frozen north. Oh,
cool.
Quite right.
We just call it Nara's wind.
There we go. Nara's wind. Nara's wind. It's like the second wind. Nara's wind. Okay. I'm gonna spend my 2 persona that I have on it. No, I'm gonna spend 1 persona on it. And I'm gonna fork in astrology.
Cool.
And I'm gonna one with astrology, 1 with persona. Should I do it carefully? Does that make sense to cast the spell carefully? I think
I mean, the only problem with carefully right now is time is an issue.
You're right. You're right. No careful. Whoa. Okay. Dice are on my hand. All those 6s. My sorcery goes up. That was this. I needed
Holy shit.
So I needed 4 routine, which I well had, and either 2 difficult or 1 challenging, and that was my second difficult. So, okay, sorcery is up. So I have
Love it. I think, yeah, go on.
No, please. I
mean, the wind starts howling around you in this circle, and you feel like parts of your extremities start to go numb.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is going to keep you from going total frostbite is the wheel. And I think like the devil is screaming, right? And you're not sure if it's encouragement or fear or what, but like he's bellowing like, I think it's encouragement. I think he is just in awe. Yeah, I think the only thing that can, yeah, it could be fear. Could be fear too. Like I think it's a lot of things, right? And love it. And the only thing to do now to not freeze to death is to pick up the wheel. And the only way to survive that is to make an OB8 health test.
All right. So this says my health is B6, which feels ridiculously high. Like that doesn't seem right. So in the excitement of all of this, I'm gonna go through and reconfigure my health because that just doesn't. I don't know. Does health? I don't know. Let's look at how health, because I know it starts by doing some traits. I think some questions.
Yeah, but I think you were brought up in a very healthy environment, right? Like you were like brought up. You were brought up amongst the elves. I mean, I think your health is so high because your mother brought you to really good places, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So it's average will and fort. So it started at 4, and then
it went up 2.
And it went up 2 because I took the are you an elf, dwarf, a dwarf, elf, or orc? And I was like, yes. I took that trait because I am Fey-blooded. And it says, did they grow up in a really clean, healthy place? And I took that. Yeah. Okay. My health is B6. All right. Never mind. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, you're rolling 9 dice.
I'm rolling 9 dice, and I have a deed.
Right. Oh, shit. And it's Bina's deed, right?
It's Bina's deed.
Oh, I love it.
I was like, yeah, I think the deed. Yeah, exactly. I've been holding on to this deed. I've almost spent it a half dozen times. I'm just doing it. Yeah, I'm absolutely doing it. Spending a deed on health. Not where not where one might expect to put a deed, but I think 1 deed double the base dice of an ability before test. So I think I'm going to have 15 dice because I'm going to have. I don't think it's going to double the advantage dice. When we did Polara fighting,
we overdid it.
What we overdid it. I don't think that would have changed it because I had so much overkill in that case anyway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't add in forks, so I don't think it should add in advantages. but here we go. Health, 3 advantage dice, 6 Artha dice, all of 8. Oh, not even close. But there's a 6 in there. 15 dice, and I got 5 down successes. There's a 6 in there, so I'm definitely rolling that. Oh shit! I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm gonna roll one more because I saved a persona for this. So
okay.
I'm sorry. I definitely wanted to spend that.
Okay.
It would not also not have been boosted, but 1d6. Nope, that didn't do anything. Okay, so now I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna spend a fate and hope to get 3 successes on 1d6. Who knows? What happened? And I got that was it. There's only 1 6 in there. Yep.
Wow.
Well, what happens when you fail a health test to grab the burning wheel, John?
So I think
should have asked that before I made the test.
Probably should have asked that before. So you pick it up. You pick it up, and for a moment it feels right, and then the pain cuts through the wind and cuts through the cold of the north and cuts you to the bone. Do you want to cast a spell before you pass out, or do you want to just drop the fucking thing and take less damage, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I did this, Judd. I did this for a damn reason. I'm not going to pick up this damn wheel and not cast a spell with it.
Right.
The question is, what spell can I cast to stop this war? And I think the answer is an illusion so bright and so big that it lights up the whole night and everybody sees what's going on. I think that I'm going to cast one giant illusion that can be seen that like illuminates Shadowhold, and it allows everyone to see the attacking armies, the attacking forces, and basically essentially casts them out in the light, essentially.
Right.
And I think it's going to look like an inferno of flames coming from Wheelhold down to Shadowhold to dance around and point them out. And yeah, I'm going to cast a giant ass illusion. That's what I'm going to do.
Awesome. And then we'll talk about...
Yeah, and then we could talk about how much...
Nara's survival, really.
Yeah.
That sounds very good. Make a versus test between sorcery and the victim's perception with the attendant double obstacle penalty. Be sure to add obstacle penalties to the sorcery. I mean, let's just say this is 4. Because I feel like you're doing something kind of weird.
For illusion?
Or do we want to say this is an advantage to like finding people?
Oh, to give everybody else an advantage.
Yeah.
Maybe why don't we do that? Why don't we call this an advantage?
It's the same. It's the exact same. It's going to look exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be this like fire that goes out and lights up the sky and illuminates every person who is, spilling blood on this devil's behalf.
Yes.
In Shadowhold. But yeah, I think it's going to be an advantage effect instead of, but it's the ob is actually kind of similar to what I was going to say. So I think it's obstacle 4.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think that goes up to 8 because I'm trying to do a whole crowd of people, right? Or is it even higher? I'm looking at breadth of target.
yeah, crowd cops. I'm going to say it's a crowd is good. I think we get up to 8. Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's a conflict, so we're up to 9.
Oh, right. Because it needs to last for some time. Okay. Yeah. Ob 9
Yeah.
sorcery.
Cool. The good news is you have bonus 5 dice from the burning wheel.
Nice. Thank you, Burning Wheel. Thank you for giving me this boost. What happens if I fail this Ob 9 sorcery test? Because I'm probably, even with 5 bonus dice, I'm going to be rolling 10 dice on an Ob 9 roll. And
Right. They're going to explode.
They will explode. Sure.
That, I mean, I think you're going to get. I mean, I think what you're going to do is it's going to be the enmity and infamy. I mean, I think you're going to get a reputation for having picked up the burning wheel.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the failure result here.
Yeah. I'm going to fork in astrology because I certainly can, but I think I also am. I think this makes sense. I also want to fork in aura reading because I am looking for the particular people, and I think that
Cool.
I'm sending it after the aura of the Iron Lantern.
Yeah.
So I think it's
Sounds good.
All right. So yeah, let's do this. I got 7 helping dice, I think. 5 from the wheel and 2 from the forks. Definitely not doing this carefully. This is North. Ob 9. Right. Oof. 7 successes.
Okay.
Spend a fate. Who knows? I only need 2 more.
Yep.
It's possible.
How many fate do you have left?
I have 4 now. I have 5. I had 5 before, so it's possible. Nope. Luck did not get me there. I got but the 6 is already rerolled because it was already open ended, so that doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well. So many close but not quites tonight.
Yeah.
I have nothing to. I mean, I have 4 fate left. I have not. I can't do anything about that. So yeah.
I think you pass out. You feel the wheel start to slip out of your grasp, and you feel it burning like your hands, and then like burning the flesh, and like, do you have a persona to spend to not die? I guess is the other question.
I don't.
Oh wow!
I just spent it all on this right now.
Wow. And how much did you miss it by?
I missed it by 2.
So if the spell failed by 1, 2, or 3 successes, the GM may assign the character an infamous reputation of a value equal to or less than the margin of failure in an appropriate sphere of the GM's choice. People, spirits, or animals. I think it's people. Yeah. The GM can also compound any existing infamous reputations or even turn a positive reputation to one of infamy due to the failed spell.
Yeah, I think it's a reputation of elf friend. That's my current.
Got it. So I just think you have 2 dice failed at the wheel.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think Jesus, that is intense. Yeah. I think we need to make some rolls.
By the wheel. I think that's a better reputation.
Burned by the wheel is way better. Holy cow, Matt Foreman, you're the man. You. Absolutely. I think we need to look at injury and
Yeah, I think we need to look
roll to see if Nara survives. I mean, she
Yeah.
might not.
I think that's a really good question. I think, yeah. Let's look at. Whew.
If the wheel is held by one who is not immune to burning, the pain and heat increases periodically by 1 damage pip until it is released. Applied at intervals as the GM sees fit. B5, then B6, then B7. So I think you take a B5 wound.
Okay.
Well, actually, I think you casted the spell, right? So you take a B6 wound.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said do you want to drop it or hold on to it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you take the B6.
Yeah.
And
where is wounds? There's a whole. There it is. All right. So a B6 for me is B6 is just on. It's just a light wound for me. It's not a midi or severe.
okay.
So that's only one wound die, and it's not enough to. I mean, passing out totally, but it's not enough to bleed out. Like you don't bleed from light wounds. So
yeah. Awesome. I think you've got nasty burns on your arms and probably near your face and on your shoulder.
yeah.
I think when the wheel slips from your grasp or you let it go, if you want to let it go, actually, that's the other thing is, do you want to hold on to it and try another casting and just take more damage?
Oh, right.
How to do that?
Right. I could just try it again. The spell didn't work, right? Like, did any effect?
It did not work, but like I think the wheel illuminated, and like everyone can tell that someone has moved the wheel. Like I think that's what's happened, and you have a reputation for having failed with the wheel. Yeah. But yeah, you've anyway, you can hold on to it and it goes up to B7.
7. Mm-hmm. So does that mean I took a B5 wound and a B6 wound? Like I took the B5 wound when I held onto it, and then or is it just
I think it goes up. I think it goes up. It said something about going up 1 pip.
Yeah. All right. So my B6 would just become a B7 rather than I'd have a B6 and a B7. Which is a midi.
If the wheel is held by one who is not immune to burning, the pain and heat increases periodically by 1 damage pip until it is released. Applied at intervals as the GM sees fit. BM, B5, then B6, then B7. I think you have both a B5 and a B6.
Got it. Okay. So that's 2 wound dice. Then still light wounds both, but the next one would be a midi wound. So I could roll my sorcery at B8, B10 minus 2 for wound dice. And I could ostensibly try it again.
Yes.
But I'd be rolling 10 dice, even if I forked in astrology and or a sight. Rolling 10 dice of 9.
Yes.
Why am I even considering this? Why am I even like, maybe I should do that? And then I would take a midi wound. I mean, I think a lot of this question is like, how much do I want to continue playing Nara? Wow. Yeah, I didn't think this question would this would be so granular, right? I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the burning wheel. Um,
The other thing to consider is that I think the shock of it got you over this, but now you're holding it. And so there's a +1 odd penalty to anything that requires calm and concentration. You can negate that by passing a OB5 meditation test, but
no, I drop it. That's it.
okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I collapse and
But I don't think you do. Like, right? It's not as bad as you thought.
right.
I think we had this idea that like you're going to pick it up, and if you don't do it right, you just burn into flames. And I
Yeah.
think what Nara learns is kind of an interesting and valuable lesson, and that is that you can fail, and life
Yeah.
goes fucking on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she sets it down. She doesn't drop it. You're right. I'm just taking 2 light wounds. I'm at -2D to things. That does not incapacitate Nara. Still has a technically she still has a power of B2 even with the wound penalties. If she took a midi wound, that would drop her to 0 and she would be incapacitated. But yeah.
Right.
She really thinks for a second like, man, well, she'll think later on, like, why didn't Antera just set it down? But in the moment, she like screams and rages and and feel because she still has the spell that's like, making her cold, right? But it's not enough, and she, staggers forward, heaves it back onto its hold, where it was held, and then and then falls away from it, and scampers into the shadows, and looks at her burnt hands.
Yeah. And I think like at some point in the midst of all that, the devil left, and you hear some dwarves say like, come out onto the roof, and they say like, you hear someone say like, what happened? And it fell. It didn't fell. Someone moved it, and you can hear them putting on their furnace masks and the stuff that they use to move this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they get it back onto its spot. But then I think one of them turns and like I think the one who picked it up, like this burly dwarf, walks over and like Olympic lifts it over her head, and puts it back on its plinth, and that's built to hold the wheel. And then she like backs away, and like her second in command like is batting away at her, and like batting at her beard and making sure that, I think the beard was like in the mask. So she like takes the mask off after she's out of the fire, and she's like, am I on fire? And the other her second is like, no, you're good. And I think like when she takes the furnace mask off, which I think is made to look like a dragon, right? She takes this like cold iron mask off, and looks up and sees you, smoking, and she hands the mask to her second and says, get the prince. And I think she like kneels, she gets on one knee next to you and puts her arm around you and says, are you all right?
I think Nara is just like staring at her hands, like, and like the cold air now is biting and feels really bad. Burns are bad. Burns suck.
Yeah.
And she kind of shudders and cries and shakes her head. I think she's like kind of not verbal, but I think she makes it pretty clear, like, no, I'm definitely not all right. And yeah, I don't know if dwarves have a balm or a aloe or anything like that, but
Right.
you know, she
Pour
kind of
Nog on it.
yeah, right. She just sort of holds out her hands,
All right. We'll
and
get you
looks
some heal.
terrified, and
Yeah, she says we'll get you some healing.
and Nora sort of nods and says like thank you, but her throat is so dry from the flames that it just kind of like when she says it like burns in her throat, like from the
Yeah.
smoke and whatnot, and she just kind of cough. It's like a thanks, but it's kind of comes out as a cough.
Yeah, yeah. I think you maybe even cough up blood, and uh, the the this woman, uh, this dwarven smith who watches over the wheel, goes over to a well and gets some cold, mountain water, mountain
Nice.
stream water, and brings a bucket over to you and says, "Here."
Yeah, and I think Nara just like dumps her hand in, which I'm sure hurts as well, but like because everything hurts right now. But
Yeah, I think the smith is like thought you were just gonna like sip some up. I think that might not be the thing you wanted to do, but she's like, okay, all right, all right, do what you need, you
yeah,
know, because she knows what it is to have like burns on your hands. I think like the thing you probably don't do is just like put it
dump
in
them into
water
cold
that
water. Yeah,
that you were meant to drink. And she goes to get another bucket, and she goes, "Why don't you try drinking this one?" And I think she gets a tin cup and like puts it to your
yeah,
lips.
yeah. I think I take it. I think my lips are all dry and cracked and parched, um, and yeah. I imagine we sort of cut to Nara being in the prince's wherever she's summoned to. I don't know
Yeah.
if
I think she's put in like a guest room with healers who fucking put clean bandages on her,
yeah.
and I think she falls asleep. Here's what I think happens. I think she falls asleep. uh she passes out from the
Yeah,
pain,
passing out feels right now.
and if you don't mind, and I think when she wakes up, uh Bezor and his familiar are in the room, like watching you sleep. I think Bezor is like looking at some scrolls, and he's got like some glasses at the edge of his nose. And when you wake up, he like takes them off, and they kind of dangle around his neck, and and you've got bandages kind of all up and down your arms.
Yeah.
And he says, when the fighting broke out and I couldn't find you, I thought you were gone.
I think she sort of like looks around. I think her throat's like too dry to talk again. And like looks around for like a cup.
Yeah, the little the bat. What the hell is the bat's name?
Fennec. Fennec.
Finnick. Thank you. Finnick. Picks up a cup just like the one that the smith was using,
Yeah.
and like puts it. I think bats have these little cute hands, and she
Yeah.
like holds it up. I think she like you go to use your hands, and like you're all bandaged up. So
Yeah.
Finnick just holds it up to her lips, and pours it in,
Yeah.
a little bit. And I think like even like has like a little bit of like a rag or a napkin to like wipe it away from your chin. And I think like your hair is burned, like it's just a mess.
Yeah, I think I'm real gross and real messy right now, and just probably still covered in soot, even though they've tried to clean it up. There's still like stuff in the cracks and whatnot. Like she's not going to look. And she when she's like drinks enough that she can kind of talk again, she said, I say, I was trying to warn everyone. And she just looks at him, and she's just like, I think the look that she gives him is like, I know, I know I shouldn't have done this. And and she says, if you don't want me as your student anymore, I understand. I know
You've what? You
mistake.
tried to stop a war with the most dangerous magical artifact that's ever been created.
I took the wheel when I told you I wasn't going to. When I told you I knew I wasn't ready, and I tried it anyway.
When you told me you weren't going to try it, we didn't know that there was going to be a war.
How bad was it?
It was bad. It was bad.
I saw the Iron Lords, and I saw them brandishing weapons, and I thought I could alert the Shadowhold. I thought the flames could illuminate the whole city. And they could have, but not with me doing it. Not maybe if Kaji was holding it, he could have done it.
You picked up the wheel and cast a spell.
Yeah, and I didn't do any of my numbers.
4 other wizards in the history of this stupid planet have done that. And you did it to try to stop a war and save your friends. It's pretty remarkable. Did you think I was going to yell at you?
No,
Chastise you for not having the chores done? I don't give a shit about any of that.
I know, but it would have been one thing if it worked.
Not everything works. Now, everyone will be watching. They will get to see how you react when you fail. And they will learn valuable things about you, and you will learn valuable things about you. It's part of it. Wizards fail. Magic is hard. Not going to be your apprentice anymore. Please. I only joined this cockamamie council because I thought I could help and support you in doing so.
And Nara's, relieved, right? Like that he's not mad at her, but there's this tremendous sense of guilt and failure and unworthiness that that she couldn't do it. And it seems like, it's great that he's not compounding it, but sometimes when you're like, I feel crappy, and your friends are like, it's okay. Like, you're just like, I still feel crappy. So hearing it from him is like, it's nice, but it doesn't, I think, immediately just like, it doesn't immediately like get her in a good mood. Like it's great that he's not abandoning her, but she also is still feeling a lot of imposter syndrome and but his point is a good one. Like we'll find out what happens when she fails, and she'll learn from it. I don't think she's going to learn in this very moment, but but Sean can envision Nara learning. And she, I think she just kind of, I think she is crying, not so much so that she can't talk, but I think she's crying a lot. And she just says, she just ask in a real kind of general way, what happens now? You know, and then kind of like bursts out with all of this. Like she ends up coughing, I think, because she's like, "What about the people who died? What about the Shadowhold? What happens to it? What about the prince? I've heard I have to see him. You know, will the dwarf? You know." And she just kind of like is a little bit of like a train wreck in terms of just like blah. You know, not sure what happens. And I don't imagine he can respond to all of it, but I do want to find out like
Now
what's the next
you are
step.
going to heal your wounds and stay here so that they don't infect. You're going to decide what you want to do next.
But what about all? What's going to happen in Shadowhold? I think she's kind of like regaining herself. Like, what did the Iron Dukes do? Did they kill the Weird Dukes? Did they kill each other? Did they?
They killed all of their rivals in the Ironlands, and they killed many of the most powerful dukes and duchesses and knights from the Gold and Weird Lands. They will probably crown an Iron Monarch before the first snow.
I didn't get the devil's name, did I? I never knew his
No,
name.
definitely not.
Yeah. Did he have any physical signifier that would stand out? You know, what do I remember of his appearance? I mean, I might not remember it well because I saw him in a dream, and then I saw sort of
Yeah.
a version of him. So it's not
Yeah,
like
he was Tovar for a bit, and then he was
I think he was Tovar's husband in my dream, right?
Tovar's husband for a bit, yeah, and then when you kicked him when you kicked it out, uh when you kicked him out, um he was just kind of this misshapen infernal beast,
Mm-hmm.
with like a lot of different, I think probably like a change, like probably changed a bit here and there, you know, probably like you remember shapeshifting and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it was all kind of vague.
Um, so I tell him I want to stay here and recover and heal these wounds. Uh, yeah, Andy, shame might be feeling shame. That's the right word. That's a good. She's feeling a lot of things, but shame is definitely one of them. Um, and she says she kind of looks around to see, you know, if anyone else is in earshot. I assume she's
Yeah,
in her own room, but she kind of
yeah,
like, and even knowing that she's in her own room, she like beckons him to come closer to her, like she like so that she can just whisper. And in part that's because her throat really hurts, but also in part that's because she doesn't want anyone to hear her. And when he gets, assuming he kind of will, you know, come
yeah, he
close,
does.
she whispers to him that there's a devil who possessed. Um, there's a devil who's possessing one of them. He was the same one that I met when I apprenticed for the Night Tovar.
Yes, there has been a lot of rumors about devil worship among the Ironlanders, and
He's,
those who would not turn to this wretched faith, they were the ones who were killed.
he possessed me for a time, and
Is he still in you?
No, I managed to break free. Luckily, I learned. Luckily, I was caught by him once before, and I wouldn't. And I was. I don't know if I would say ready, but wary. But when I came to, I was in front of the wheel. I don't know how he got me there, but he wanted me to pick it up. I knew picking it up was going to serve his end, but I also knew that picking it up was how I could stop. Well, I also believed that picking it up was how I could stop people. He probably possesses. I don't know. He seems like he could possess people easily. He might bounce between them.
Hmm.
My only my the only thing I think that went right was that he wasn't able to be there because he was too busy trying to goad me. And at least I kept him out of the fight, if that did any good at all. But I'm sure he's back, and I'm sure he's possessing someone. And I can see him. And so can Natana, Counselor Natana. And if he knows that,
he might have done this hoping that you would fail, hoping that shame would prevent you from ever trying again.
I honestly didn't think you could try again, but it wasn't what I imagined. I thought I would just be immolated, like in a furnace. It was burning really hot, but for a moment there, I was able to hold on to it. Wasn't burned as badly as Antera was. That's what I thought.
Maybe you let go where Antera held on.
I thought about it. I thought about it. I thought I could try and cast a spell again. I had it in me. I felt the power of it.
And you might not have made it. I'm glad you let go. I'm proud that you tried. Know that any shame you have might be serving this devil.
I think this isn't meant to be encouraging, but ultimately, like, it's like, note that if you feel bad right now, she smiles and thanks him, and yeah, I think things are gonna, if she's gonna stay here, I think light wounds heal. Not. I don't know. I have to look up the healing rules, but I don't think light wounds take years to heal. I think they take weeks or months, maybe. Probably weeks.
Cool.
And then I probably get a test from, the health stuff. Do you want to tackle that next time and wrap this up? Call this.
Yeah.
Feel like a.
He says, "Do you feel ready to hear about what happened in Shadowhold?"
And she sort of sits up in her. I think she probably had like a bunch of pillows, and was like propped up with her arms, out, and she sort of like sits up. She still can't really use her arms much, and kind of like shifts her body so that she's like on the edge, so that she's sitting up in her bed, and then she has like set her arms down and winces as they hurt, but like sets them down so she's not just kind of doing this.
Yeah.
And then says, tell me everything you know. Or tell me everything you can.
Many of noble blood were killed. I don't know how many of them you knew. They did some bloody work in the Golden Towers. Kaji was killed, and his apprentice was wounded. as well as several other apprentices.
She sort of
Sorry,
shakes her head and remembers Samuel, who is so worried about casting a spell tomorrow morning.
right, right.
Or I guess it's been long enough that it would be today, but like the next day, you know, that was his big fear, was
Yeah.
casting it up. Yeah.
And I'm sorry to tell you this. I know he was a friend of yours, a friend of your family. The Iron Druid, Rasmus, was killed. As well as dozens of others. But those were the people who I thought you knew best. The prince wishes to speak to you. If you feel up to it, I will send him in.
She she says, "Help me look less like this."
Yeah, he's
And
kind of like, he looks like super uncomfortable, and he's like, "What do you want me to like?" Starts like arranging the blankets on the bed.
yeah,
Like, what do
she's
you want me to do?
like put like a cloak, like put my cloak over my shoulders
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like push my hair back so that it's not so matted and gross, and like clean my face off a little bit so there's not so much soot
Oh,
on it.
I don't. I think they've cleaned you up. Like, I
Yeah,
think
they have. Okay.
bathing you was part of the deal. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Cool. So it's just, yeah, like help me get, because I'm sure she's been feverish and sweating, and so she's like,
Yeah,
help me push my hair back so it's not so the burns aren't so visible, and and just like, yeah, let me sit up in bed and throw the cloak over my shoulders so
yeah,
that she just doesn't want to meet the prince looking bedridden, looking, injured, and obviously she is injured. She's not going to hide it, but she kind of wants to. Um, compose herself, and she says, yes, please. I
yeah. He says, "Do you want me to stay for this, or do you wish to speak to him alone?"
um my mother told me about meeting Prince Bulat the First and his generosity and his kindness to her. I think I'll if Bulat the Second takes after their predecessor, I think I'll be okay. I'm sure if the dwarves do me harm, they wouldn't treat me this well.
Cool. And Fennec like jumps up onto his shoulder, and he says, "We'll be right outside." And you hear him like talking to a dwarven Aberdart who fetches the prince. I think like when the prince walks in, he's carrying your staff, and
Oh wow.
he says, a servant from Shadowholt brought this. They said you had left it. And I think like you realize that the bed was like made for wizards because he like puts it between the bedposts, and you realize like the bedposts are like a thing to hold the staff, right?
Nice. They have like a little
Like
ring in them or something.
yeah, yeah, like he just like settles it on there, like, oh, that's what they're made for, because
Yep.
that's what they're made for. And
Absolutely. Of course, dwarves would make wizard beds with staff holders in them,
of
right? Like
course,
that's
of
the
course.
only thing a dwarf would do, right? I love it. I love it.
And he says, our parents met. My name is Bulat. Uh, everyone calls. Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Nara. Nara Janos. Yes. My mother said good things about your father. She gave her, and she sort of like looks down because she's not wearing her
Yeah,
boots
yeah.
now,
I
but
think like yeah, the boots are totally at the end of the bed, like
yeah, exactly.
on a little like thing at the end, like a little box at the end of the bed. And like I think he looks down at them and smiles
Yeah.
and says, what can you tell me about the wheel?
It's hot. Um,
He laughs.
um, it's. I wouldn't say I felt like there was a presence, a person there, but I certainly felt a presence when I held it, a power that I could touch. It gave me incredible power, although I didn't quite know how to use it. But I think if I had another chance, if I was rested, if I was better prepared, I think I might be able to hold on to it and not burn. I feel like I have it. I feel like this wasn't. I thought this was the kind of failure you never recovered from, and I think I'm wrong now. I think this is something that I could learn to do.
My sister said when she found you, you were in pretty tough shape.
I probably should have dropped it the first thing, but I wanted to protect the people, and I wanted to warn the people in Shadowhold. And I thought, just so happens I happen to have an incredible, powerful sorceress artifact in my hands, and I really want to cast a very powerful spell. I would have been a fool not to take a chance, not to try it.
I know how that is. What would you do if you were to have the wheel again?
And it didn't burn me, I would she doesn't know how well she knows this person, right? She doesn't know what Prince Bulat is all about.
Right.
And she doesn't know if she's ready to tell him that there's a devil. But I guess it sounds like that's not uncommon knowledge, right? Bezor said, like, yeah, there's people.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, I would find the devil who started this war and I would stop him. I would stop him from taking even more power in this land.
Then rest up, Narajanos. When you are healthy and ready, you'll try again.
Okay. And I think at that, she's just like, she wasn't quite expecting, that he would be, she wasn't quite expecting that he would be cool with it, but also she wasn't expecting that he'd be like, yeah, try it again. She's like, I know I said I could do it, but that's terrifying. She's like, yeah. And she gets kind of awkward again, like she sometimes does. She's like, that's what I'll do. I'll just grab that wheel again. Yeah.
My father died so that the lands south of us wouldn't turn into a feast of spiders, a feast for spiders. I'm not going to let a devil shit all over that. I would like you to succeed. If you don't, history is going to say that Prince Bulat II was a burner of children. So
Well, I'd like to succeed as well.
Good. What do you need to do better next time?
That's a good question. I don't think I can pick up the wheel like Ostapa did. And I don't want to do it as Igna did. I need to make my hands strong enough and hardy enough that they can hold the wheel. And I almost did it. And I noticed that your sister picked it up just fine.
For a second, and she had to be put out. We have furnace masks and armor that can withstand a direct shot from dragonfire, but I don't think anyone could be casting a spell while doing it. And I think putting you in a furnace mask is a mistake. I think there are already wizards who are saying you're already the Archmage.
Wouldn't want to disappoint them.
And there are wizards who are saying you should never touch it again and that what you've done is blasphemy. So
yeah.
If we dress you up in dwarven armor, I just don't know how that's going to look for you.
All right, then. Well, what I need is a wizard who can teach me the school of... I need a wizard who can teach me Ostafa School of Fire, and Sean is looking for the
Fire and Wrath.
Fire and Wrath. And I think I can make stone. Actually, hold on a second. I want to take that back. Judd, tell me what you think about this.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about this more. Sean was very. It's funny because the idea is coming to Nara in much in the same way that's coming to Sean. It's not like what Nara didn't work. It didn't work well enough, but it was close. Getting a bunch of advantage dice on a health test was not an impossible way to do this.
Yeah.
Transform magic, the transform art magic allows you to transform yourself into animals. Could it be used to transform into something else? Could she turn herself to stone?
I think so.
Because I feel like if Nara could turn herself to stone or to steel and then freeze herself like she did, I think it's not entirely unreasonable to use the combination of transform and advantage magic to do this. And as we have many times, we turn to the because I'm looking at art. I don't know why I can't find it. There it is. Transform. May transform himself into an animal. Obstacles. Yeah. So it just says animal. It does not say anything else. But it does say changing a drag. Well, that's changing a dragon into something else.
Right. And once you're changed, you can't cast other spells.
Right. Okay. Never mind. This is not an easy problem to solve. They did not. Yeah. Luke did not make any shortcuts to doing this, which is great. Yeah. I think she says I need a wizard who can teach me the school of Fire and Wrath.
All right.
And as many changes of my bandages as your healers are willing to offer.
We will see to your wounds. I'm sorry that you got hurt in my holt.
Well, it certainly wasn't your fault. But thank you for your hospitality.
Yes, I'm showing you quite the feast.
I'm a lot better off than I was when I first got when your sister first found me.
Yeah.
I will try not to embarrass you or your family, and bring shame or to you. I think, much as I would love to spend years discovering this, I think the sooner that I can hold the wheel, the sooner we'll dispel the rumors and whispers and hearsay people, and any shame that might come on you.
Very well. Very well. You have a lot of missives. Do you want them?
Oh, I think I've had enough for the moment, but I'm gonna take a nap, and then
I'm not saying right now, and I wasn't going to bring them to you. That's not part of my princely duties. You have servants outside. If you need them, if you need anything, ask. And I believe my sister has taken a liking to you, so she'll probably be by to visit.
well, I certainly appreciate her. She's welcome. She's welcome anytime. I would love to send a letter if you could. I'd love to send a letter to my mother to let her know that I'm alive.
Of course. Of course.
So yeah, I think and it's not like Nara knows how to write, but the great thing is, it's not like she could right now anyway.
Right.
So someone can scribe for her. She doesn't feel bad about it at all.
Yes. Cool. I think that's a good place to end.
I think that's a good place to end. Yeah.
That was not at all where I expected all that to go. Holy shit.
No, it was not. It's not where I expected to go either, but there we are. Wow, Judd.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was some two-fisted burning wheel action right there. I'll have to say that's a first. I have never taken hold of the burning wheel in any game.
Right.
In any game of burning wheel, I've never actually grabbed it. So pretty awesome. I also don't think I've ever completely depleted my Artha. Like
Artha,
I started this with like 6 persona, I think, and 1 deed, and I have 4 fate left. But I just blew through it all.
Yeah.
All right. Last beliefs. Last time the Fell Nightingale tried to teach me Elven Song, and then a disaster because I didn't understand my gift. I'm ready now, and I'll learn the Recitation of the Ages from her. I mean, I cast it.
I think you tried. Yeah. I think that's a fate.
Yeah. War is bad, and I don't want to bury any more heads. I'll find out what the Weird Dukes are planning in the Ironlands. Well,
that's a fate.
Yeah. I didn't find it all out, but I definitely worked on it. This is really sad. Kaji and his retinue may be a pack of smug jackals, but he doesn't deserve to enter his fate. I'll convince him to wait until he's prepared.
I think that's also a fate. I feel like you doing it, like I liked how you looked over all your beliefs before you picked it up and were like, I told Kaji not to do what I'm about to do. You know, like yeah. I feel like he was on your mind in that second.
Yeah.
In a way that was really cool.
I was actually going to push for Persona on that as Mold Breaker, and say like I think I abandoned that belief in that moment.
Yeah, totally.
Where I was like, yeah, I've been saying you're not ready, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and I'm going to pick this thing up.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely getting rid of it. That belief is going away.
Yep.
All right. Instincts. When entering a room, always look for a way out. Let's see. Playing an instinct that makes the character's life more difficult. I'm going to say yes, because by getting unpossessed, I then saw the burning wheel. That made my life a lot more complicated.
Yep, that's a fate.
Yeah. I also when preparing for an argument, always cast Smoke and Shadow. I did
That
that,
is also
and
a
I got
fate.
possessed because of it.
Also a fate. Yep.
Wow. And I don't think Spooky came into this. I don't think. I mean, she was
Nope.
spooked out, but I don't think I played that. I don't think. I don't think that changed.
Yeah. We already said yeah, cool. We already said a mold breaker moment, I think, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's it.
Yeah. I don't think I can claim a deed for helping out no matter the costs. I think
No,
I could
you
have
didn't actually
claimed it
help.
if I was like, yeah, I'll take the midi wound and try again, and it worked, but
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah, you could have died. I mean, you really like middies can escalate if the dice don't go your way, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you had no persona in your pocket to like save you.
Nope. I don't think I was the crucial element of success. I don't think MVP makes sense either.
Nope.
Yeah, I think that's that.
Yeah, I think it's mold breaker. I think we really like found out. I mean, after yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about Nara tonight in a cool way.
You're right. In a way that was difficult for me as a player to, I think that's the sign of those mold breaker moments is when like the player's just like, I don't know. I have,
I feel it feels very real to me. I feel like so something that I do as a person when I'm fucking up or I'm looking at a difficult situation is I make it very binary. And I'm like, well, I've got to do this or I've got to do that. And sometimes you just need that person, a friend, a therapist, or whatever, to say, why? Why can't you do neither of those things?
Right.
And so I love that like Nara did this thing that I'm very often guilty of doing under stress, which is like thinking this is all or nothing.
Right.
And it's like, no, pump the brakes there, chief. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can, it's not do or do not. There is no try. It's like try. Whoops. Well, that fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Let's do better next time. Let's not get our face burned off next time. Like, I don't know. I like that. If this is a young adult novel for adults, I like what it's saying, I guess is what I'm saying. I'd be worried if I don't know, you always worry that you're gonna like be saying something really shitty. And I like what it says. It says like sometimes you're gonna try something really ambitious and it's gonna fail in front of fucking everyone and it sucks. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I like what we've learned about Nara. I like what we're saying about humanity. I like it. It's good.
I like that we are. That there are more chances, right? And I absolutely agree with you. I think Laura was thinking in a very. I mean, she was dealing with a ton of stress, and when and had that sort of closed-mindedness that you often have when you're dealing with stress, but like now she can grow from that, and I'm excited about that too. So, it's so wild to me that Luke put the damn put the burning wheel in the game. Like that he's just like, yeah, it's a thing. It's an actual thing in this game, and that we have talked about it for more than 20 sessions, right? Part of this game, and so it's cool to finally grab onto it, and it's cool to grab onto it not in the ultimate final episode either, not the end, right?
I did not expect this. This was not planned. Like I don't know. I feel like sometimes people watch these games like, wow, you really like knew where this was going. No, I did not know where this is going. I did not know this. I literally had like a quiet moment where I was like getting my shit together before the game, and Shanaki was like, what's on your mind? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the game. And she's like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, what the fuck's going to happen? Like, I don't know. I just don't know where this is going. And it's, yeah, I don't know. Thinking about, I hope we get to say cool shit. But like, that's literally like my thought process is like, I'm looking at Sean's beliefs I kind of zoned in on that new one, right? On like what's going on with the the Ironlands and and the Weird Dukes. And I knew that the Ironlands was in trouble and that there was a devil in their midst because Sean had kind of put that in there for me, and I thought it was cool. And I liked the idea of this person kind of or this entity kind of causing real problems. But yeah, I had no idea what was going to happen. Like that could have gone a very, very different way. And yeah.
I'm glad I tried it.
Yeah, especially because Sean's dice are really cheaty, and he rarely ever fails anything ever.
I know, right? My dice are super cheaty. I thought I had it, man. I had 15 dice to get an OB. What was it? What was the? It was the OB 8 health test, and I was like, 15 dice. I got this, man. I can't fail.
Right.
5. Got a difficult health test out of it.
Yeah. And your sorcery went up, right? Did it go up
sorcery went up to B5? Yeah.
Holy shit!
I mean, I have cast a lot of spells in this game. Like I have used sorcery a lot. So, but it went up today because of 2 difficult castings. The first one was trying to cloak myself in shadow without super high and the second one was summoning the wind. So it was great. Yeah. Now I just need 3 difficult and 1 challenging. It's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. It was cool. But, and so did my aura reading, I think. My aura reading went up as well. So, very sorcerous session in lots of ways.
Yep. Good stuff.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Y'all have been a delight to see and chat and
yeah, our chat is really lovely.
So I'm very happy that we get to play games with you. I'm Sean. I use he him pronouns. You can find me everywhere at Sean Nittner, and I'll put in my links. What am I doing? Tomorrow morning we'll be running a game of Lighthearted, which is an 80s magical art teens college kids RPG. And Kurt Potts, who is the author, will be running that. And so that's some fun stuff. And Thirsty Sword Lesbians is going to be launched in time for Valentine's because we thought that would be cute. So backer kit will be going out, the PDF will be going out, the Roll20 module will be going out, the pre-orders will be opening up, the whole shebang, everything but the book itself, which will be several months from now. But that's happening soon, so I'm excited about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's such a good game, and I'm so excited about it. And next month, we're going to be announcing 2 more games, and we'll be opening playtests for them. So I can't talk about them specifically, but fun things happening with the hat. How about you, Judd? What do you got to?
Hey, my name is Judd. He, him, and I've got a couple of things like that will be probably like maybe cheap PDFs at some point. Not cheap,
Cool.
affordable, like little $2 PDFs. Yeah, that are coming. If I get that out, if and when I get that out, it will be on my blog, and we'll see. But yeah, like I've got a project that's coming along, and I actually like started it, and I really liked it, and then I tried to make a cover for it, and in like 5 minutes, I made the best cover that I've made in a year of doing Affinity.
I was going to say, you've been making some really amazing covers. So.
I like did something for 5 minutes, and I was like, oh shit, that's the best thing I've ever done. I can't believe it took me 5, like really, like I think when you do something like that, it takes a year, right? because it's all the skills you've learned. But like I took a picture from Unsplash, and then I took this other thing from Pixabay, and I put the thing on it, and I made it a little blurry, and I was like, oh shit, that's really good. That all worked. Like that looks just like a fucking fantasy novel cover. Like I'm totally in.
That's
So
cool.
it was fun. So anyway, like if you keep an eye on my blog and my Twitter, I'll announce it, and that should be fun. And I've got a podcast episode 3/4 done for Daydreaming About Dragons. So yeah, keep an eye on that, and yeah, hopefully maybe some other gaming coming. We'll see. I've got conversations brewing that are exciting. So good question. Do you get steel test for holding the wheel? I think the health test was kind of like dealing with that pain. I don't think it was necessarily. I feel like steel test is something else.
Well, you get steel tests can be done in two ways. So you have to make them in lots of cases, but you also just get steel tests when you do wild stuff, right? Like
yeah.
You just get. I think you get like a steel test. She might get a steel test for getting hurt for the first time. I don't know. We should look that up. Maybe
we'll look it up. Yeah. There might be. Oh, I see. Do you get a steel test? Yeah,
right.
That's a really good idea. That's a great idea, Sith Master. Yes. In the passive form. Yep. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll need to think about that.
Yeah. We can see what that would have been. Yeah, we'll put it in.
It definitely made Nara even more of a badass. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, she expelled the demon and then picked up the burning wheel. No big for a night.
Grabbing something that's on fire is terrifying. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, she cast the spell, right? She cast a spell to protect herself, and so it was like maybe it was gonna work. And then the answer was like, well, I loved it when you were like, and now you've made yourself so cold that you're gonna get frostbite. The only way you could not freeze to death is to pick it up, which is exactly the idea, right? It's the only, yeah. It's just flex, Nara. Thank you, Andy. All right, friends, this has been a blast. We're gonna try and sign off in a way that you might still hear us. So if you do, good night. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, thanks all.
Let's see how this goes.
Talk to you later.
Oh, death.